What's up everybody, D-Man back. Welcome to a brand new video, and today we're going to be doing another Godzilla X Kong discussion video. Oh yes, this one is going to be a fun one, I think. Okay, so this was actually supposed to be the back half of the last video, so it's kind of going to be a little jarring when we cut into it because I'm almost mid-conversation. But in this video, we are going to be discussing my potential thoughts and theories on how they could involve other Titans into this movie to make this Kong a bigger threat than he already appears to be. I've seen a lot of speculation online that like, oh my god, Destoroyah is going to come back and Biolante is going to be in here and the Gargantuas are going to show up and there's going to be SpaceGodzilla and all sorts of crazy stuff. And just like in the King of the Monsters days, I am here to run through my Toho thoughts and theories and basically dismiss all of them and tell you what I think they might do instead. But I also just want to acknowledge at the top of this video, I am not keeping up to date with KDM currently. KDM's been posting a lot of stuff about how this new Titan is based on an orangutan and how he's not exactly a Kong, but he's something else. He's something a little more mutated and whatever. I'm not keeping up to date with it because I want to speculate with you guys. I don't want the answers and I don't even want hints as to what direction we're headed yet. I want to share my thoughts with you guys and I want to get your guys' thoughts back, and then the next video I make, I can do one final discussion on this teaser and lay it to bed, and maybe then I can involve those discussions and we can get into that stuff. So if anybody's commenting because it's not a Kong, I know, I'm still gonna call him Emperor Kong until I have a reason to call him something otherwise, but I know. Modern me will be interjecting a little bit throughout this video because I want to add some stuff, but I want to start out by pitching the theory that what if the events of Godzilla vs. Kong have awakened this kaiju predator, which I think is actually a really cool name. I kind of like calling him the Predator more so than Emperor Kong because I think it's going to be a little more accurate to what he is in the movie. What if the events of Godzilla vs. Kong have awoken the Predator, and the reason he's such a threat in this movie is because maybe he doesn't need to be the alpha, or if he is in need of being the alpha, which seems to be every monster's motivation in the MonsterVerse, maybe he's mad because he's awakened after such a long time and realizes that Kong is now the king of the Hollow Earth and Godzilla is the king of the surface world, and he doesn't like either of them and he wants to be the king again like he used to be. Or what I think is more interesting, what if he just doesn't like them? What if he has nothing to do with being an alpha? What if he's just a predator and he's like, these guys are gonna die because I like killing, they make me angry. Maybe it's even like oh, they are the alphas, well I'm the predator and I want them as my trophies kind of deal. I don't know. Point is, I think it could be interesting if the reason we've never heard of this guy before is because he truly wasn't a threat. He was just asleep or dormant or whatever, and now he has been reawakened after a long time. Yeah, what if this Kong is pure evil and betrayed the other Kongs, and maybe he's manipulating the Kong we know. Maybe he's manipulating King Kong for his own benefit because he wants him to go kill Godzilla or something like that. I don't know. I think there's tons of opportunity here. I've seen a lot of people theorizing that this Kong is going to be at the heart of the Great Titan War, and I hesitate to believe that because, and I know this is just concept art, but I have a feeling that it isn't irrelevant. I don't think that this is just going to be, oh, this Kong living in the Hollow Earth, he was the one pulling the strings, he manipulated the Titan War into happening in the first place, because that's kind of boring. And I kind of was more interested in the idea that it was a rogue Godzilla, which is what we saw in the concept art for Godzilla vs. Kong. The Godzillas and the Kongs teamed up against a rogue Godzilla, and I think that's a little more interesting. So my theory is, what if this Kong is associated with Zo-Zla-Halawa, which is of course the ancient Godzilla that we hear about in the Godzilla vs. Kong novelization, the great eternal enemy. What if this Kong and Zo-Zla-Halawa are for some reason teamed up? Is that cringe? Is that cool? I don't know. But imagine it. Just for a minute, please go down this thought process with me. What if this Emperor Kong and Zo-Zla-Halawa team up against Godzilla and King Kong? How incredible would that be? Godzilla and Kong versus Godzilla and Kong. That is something we have never seen before. Nobody could predict it. That is a thing that I think KDM would be teasing us about, where he's like, nobody's going to be able to predict what happens in this movie. There's going to be more than one threat. What if that's it? What if it's a Godzilla and a Kong versus a Godzilla and a Kong? How crazy would that be? I think that'd be great. And it'd be like the two apexes of their species, like Emperor Kong and Zo-Zla-Halawa, the king of Godzillas. Oh my god, that'd be great. So another potential theory here is that maybe Emperor Kong and Zo-Zla-Halawa were the ones who started the Titan War, and it was something that happened a long time ago, but now at this point that's over with, it's done. They have moved on, and they team up against our Godzilla and our Kong in order to get back on top and to gain the respect of the world and all the Titans. That's another idea of what could happen. I think it would be a little more interesting if it was not that they were trying to become the alphas, but it was just a situation where this predator down there in the Hollow Earth and this Zo-Zla-Halawa, who's also kind of a predator but for Godzilla's, relate to each other in terms of their anger and their bloodshed and their need for carnage, and so they just go after our Godzilla and our Kong just because they can. Maybe they don't even team up properly. Maybe they fight each other as well, but maybe the two of them together create this shared threat that can really truly take down the world. Using the concept art and the actual set photos we saw from Godzilla vs. Kong, I was able to properly reconstruct the Titan War as it was originally intended to be seen in the movie Godzilla vs. Kong, and in this photo, we can see multiple Kongs with multiple axes going to war with the help of multiple Godzillas and humanity on both sides fighting alongside both of them, linking both Titans to humanity, much like the plot synopsis says, against this flying blue Godzilla shooting atomic breath downward. A lot of people thought, oh my god, that's SpaceGodzilla, and it just isn't. It never looked like SpaceGodzilla. SpaceGodzilla is ridiculously out of place in the MonsterVerse. I don't think it's gonna be a flying Godzilla. I think that's more of a metaphor. I think it's gonna be an ultra omega powerful Godzilla, and that the wings might be like the burning Mothra wings that we saw Godzilla physically release in Godzilla King of the Monsters. But in my reconstruction, you can see it's the Godzillas and the Kongs versus this flying Godzilla, and you can see it really clearly. This was literally supposed to be seen in the movie Godzilla vs. Kong before the reshoots. And Adam Wingard has said he didn't want to reveal what his original thought process was on where things should go because it would spoil too much and would also pigeonhole them into a place where if they made another movie they couldn't not do it. So clearly he was keeping secrets because he wanted to develop ideas that he was originally setting up in Godzilla vs. Kong, and I think that this could be it. I mean, I'm just taking a shot in the dark here, but what if Zo-Zla-Halawa and Emperor Kong are the threat of this movie? I think it'd be great. There's a really good argument to level against Zo-Zla-Halawa being involved, and Zo-Zla-Halawa could also just straight up refer to Godzilla because Godzilla is the one who can shoot atomic breath, and we don't know if any of the other Godzilla species can, but maybe Zo-Zla-Halawa specifically refers to Godzilla, the one we know and love, because that's what Gia calls him in the novelization. She recognizes him as Zo-Zla-Halawa. I think it could be more interesting if it isn't Godzilla, if it's another member of his species or an offshoot of his species, the way that this new Kong appears to be an offshoot of the Kongs we know. But look, the argument to level against this that is truthfully probably what's real is that concept art is just concept art and it doesn't always get developed into something. The reason that I give so much credibility to this concept art is because it made it off the page and onto set. It was actually there. They developed it. It was on set with the cast and crew. They filmed it. It was gonna be put in the movie, and only due to reshoots was it changed. There is the potential that this was going to be revealed in the post-credit scene, and that when Adam Wingard says he didn't want to go down a path that was going to corner him into a decision that he wasn't sure he wanted to commit to, maybe it was this, but who knows? We don't know. We truly have no idea yet. I'm lending a lot of credence to this concept art, even though I am acknowledging right now so that when it happens, I'm expecting it to not go through. I'm expecting Zo-Zla-Halawa to not be the co-threat of the movie. I just think it would be really cool, and so I'm pitching it as an idea. Truthfully, what could happen in this movie is that this Kong could be the only threat, and that he is just so powerful and mutated and has all sorts of abilities that he can do whatever, and he's so big and strong. I think KDM has teased that he's even bigger than Kong and bigger than Godzilla, and he's stronger than both, and so maybe he can just beat the hell out of both of them, and then this guy could truthfully be the one to cause problems all over the world. I don't think so, though. What I would expect to happen is he is going to be involved with other Titans, and they will be a combined threat that he is in charge of. Some other potential threats I'll just run through really quick. Emperor Kong, just in general, I want to mention him really quickly. A lot of people think he's going to be an orangutan because he's a little more orange in fur. As I said in the last video, Kong's been red in the fur before in 76, and Kong's also been red in the fur in the teaser for Godzilla vs. Kong that was leaked originally at CCXP. So I don't think that this necessarily means it's going to be an orangutan-esque Kong. I think it could still be a normal-ish Kong with redder fur. Now, Blake Bieseman found out that there was actually concept art of Kong Skull Island that parallels the Kong we see in this teaser. It wouldn't be unheard of for Adam Wingard to reference the concept art for Kong Skull Island. Of course, Kong originally had a throne in Kong Skull Island, and eventually in Godzilla vs. Kong, he has a throne. So Adam Wingard clearly pulls from concept art of previous artists and previous movies. Could he just be pulling the design elements of this weird-looking Kong for the new Godzilla and Kong movie? I don't know. Potentially. Could it be an orangutan? Maybe. We also have an Easter egg that was discovered here by Jdog on Twitter, who found that there might be a potential Destoroyah Easter egg in this frame. I don't think it is. I think it's just a coincidence that this silhouette happens to look a little like Destoroyah's head. These are, of course, bones in the teaser. KDM basically confirmed that it is not an intentional Easter egg, that it just happens to be there. So I'm going to say no Destoroyah in this movie, obviously. obviously that would be like a Godzilla 3 type deal if you were to do a Godzilla solo movie. Also, KDM has confirmed in the past no SpaceGodzilla, so this flying Godzilla we see in the concept art, not SpaceGodzilla. And I don't think any other Toho Kaiju are going to be involved in this film. I do know there will be multiple threats in this movie, whether they're multiple enemies that Godzilla and Kong have to team up against or not, I don't know, but I would guess that they're not going to be Toho monsters. So get that out of your head. Who else could it be though? I'm thinking, what if Emperor Kong can lead other Titans into battle? We've seen fan art of this kind of idea where Kong can lead Skullcrawlers into battle. What if Emperor Kong can manipulate other Titans and lead them into battle? Maybe the blue eyes lighting up is him mind controlling other Titans. That'd be a little cringe because it's a little too unrealistic for me. Lightning powers is one thing. I don't want Emperor Kong to shoot atomic breath, and I also think if he's gonna do an EMP, it should be a weapon that he uses rather than a physical ability he has. I'm still in favor of some sort of realism here. But what if he can command other Titans? What if he has the respect of other Titans or the fear of other Titans? They're afraid of him, and he can command them into battle. We could potentially see him lead an army of Skullcrawlers and Warbats and other Hollow Earth Titans against Godzilla and Kong. Maybe he can even lead Mutos into war against Godzilla in order to neutralize him. Of course, the Mutos really couldn't do much to a Kong, so a Kong could easily wipe through them. And what if this new Emperor Kong can command Titans like Scylla or Behemoth or other King of the Monsters Titans that we've seen before into battle in an organized front? I know some of you might be thinking, that's very similar to Ghidorah. Ghidorah was able to make all the other Titans do what he wanted. He had them doing an attack on the Earth. Ghidorah told them to break stuff. What if this Kong can specifically target them somewhere? What if he can say, you guys line up and then do a battle against this threat that I'm telling you to go against? What if he can control them in a way like the leader of an army could? What if he could send them to the surface world to cause intentional havoc up there, bringing Godzilla down into the Hollow Earth to stop this threat once and for all? What if he then leads an army of multiple Titans we've seen before against the Godzilla and Kong we know, riding Behemoth into battle with his axe and his maybe like a shield made of Godzilla bones or something? Could be great. I have no idea. I'm just guessing. Overall, I think we're going to see new Titans, though. I don't think we're just going to see Cranky Kong. I think Cranky Kong's one of many. I think we're going to see many new Titans to flesh out the Hollow Earth itself. I think a few are going to go up to the surface. Of course, we do know Godzilla beaches himself at some point in the movie. Why would he go on the beach if not in search of something? I think he's going to be searching out another Titan that is causing havoc up on the surface, and he's going to be a good guy. I think it's going to be a mislead where you're like, oh my god, he's a bad guy. And then unlike Godzilla vs. Kong, he doesn't break anything. He goes to save the day. There's also the potential, and I don't know how possible this is, but there's also the potential that we will develop the idea from the Godzilla vs. Kong novelization, which is that the Iwi originally come from the Hollow Earth, and there could be Iwi left down there who worship this Kong. We of course hear chanting over the teaser, which could be this Kong's Iwi following chanting to him, and maybe there's a set of dark Iwi who stand in defense of this Kong and go to war with humanity, creating this multi-layered threat where humans against humans, kaiju against kaiju, and the whole world is going into chaos. All of these ideas that I'm pitching would have to be executed really carefully to not be silly, but it could happen. I don't know. We do know the new Kong poses a threat to humanity directly because there are human skeletons amongst the boneyard that he is sitting in, so it could happen. Oh my gosh, I have so many thoughts, so many theories, and obviously I'm very excited. Please let me know what you guys think down below. Do you guys like any of these theories? Two Kongs and two Godzillas in the same movie, King Kong and Godzilla versus Emperor Kong and Zo-Zla-Halawa. What do you guys think about that? I think it could be so cool. And I just want to thank Adam Wingard, and I want to thank Legendary for getting me excited about this. I have not been this excited about a MonsterVerse project since before King of the Monsters released, and it feels really nice to just be able to speculate with you guys and have some fun. To end it off here, guys, I want to give a big thank you to my patrons over on Patreon. If you want to support the Patreon, you can use the link in the description below. It really means a lot to me, and it truly is what's keeping the channel going, so please consider checking it out. And that'll do it for this one, guys. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you guys next time for the next one. D-Man, out.